morning students, and welcome to the session number 3 of unit 17 of this course. This unit deals with pumps and pumping requirements, valves and appurtenances. So far in session 1 and session 2 we have discussed key aspects such as what are pumps, what are various types of pumps, what are the various services for which pumps are required. We have discussed centrifugal pumps and reciprocating pumps in more details. We have also discussed 4 different types of miscellaneous pumps and processes like boosting, cavitation, and what are the selection criteria for pumps for a particular use. In this session, we are going to discuss valves and various appurtenances that are required in a pumping system, and let us see how these valves help us in providing water at a required pressure and required discharge at the desired end. A valve is simply an opening which allows controlled water through its opening. In other words, a valve allows us to control the flow of the water through its opening. These are very commonly used appurtenances in the supply line. If you look at the schematic 17.28, you can clearly see that between a sump and delivery, a number of valves are provided. These are different types of valves. For example, on a summit, we generally provide gate valve. On either sides of a gate valve on a summit, we generally provide valves known as air valves. At lowest points in the network, we generally provide valves known as drain valves or blow-off valves. Right next to pumps, we generally provide one-way valves, among others. These are just some of the examples of the valves that are generally used in a water supply network. Let's look at them in more details. We are going to discuss 6 different types of valves in this session, and we are also going to discuss what fire hydrants are, what are their applications, what are the different types of fire hydrants, among others. The 6 key types of valves that are commonly used in waterworks include sluice valve, which is also known as gate valve, the air valve, the check valve, the safety valve, the drain valve, and the foot valve. What are sluice valves or gate valves? A sluice valve or a gate valve allows us to regulate the flow of water through a pipeline. These are commonly available in our own homes, right next to the water supply meter or right at the point of entry of water into our homes. These are provided. These are also provided right next to any overhead water reservoir, and you can check them in your own homes. Gate valves or sluice valves allows us to divide a very long pipeline into sections, which allows us or which makes provisions for easy repair and maintenance. For example, if we need to repair a particular section of a pipeline, gate valve on both the sides of this particular section can be closed. This will ensure that there is no inflow of water into this particular section. The section can be drained off by using drain valves, and then in the empty pipeline, the repair and maintenance work can be easily carried out. In general, gate valves or sluice valves are provided every 3 to 5 kilometers along the pipeline. The individual sections can be isolated by closing the gate valve, as mentioned earlier, on both sides of the pipe section, and then the pipe can be drained. Generally, the sluice valves or the gate valves are made of cast iron and the mountings in such a valve are made up of brass, bronze or stainless steel. The difference between the gate valves and sluice valve is about the size. The valves that have larger size are generally known as gate valves, whereas valves that have smaller size are known as sluice valves. In general, when we provide a sluice valve or gate valve, for the purpose of economy and ease of operation, we provide valves which are generally of a smaller diameter than the pipeline on which they are installed. This provides for economy. A specific type of sluice valve is known as a globe valve. In case of a globe valve, the water goes from one chamber to another chamber through a circular opening. This opening is controlled through a disc. The advantages offered by a globe valve is the quicker opening and closing of the valve, long life, and ease of repairs. Globe valves are commonly used when frequent opening and closure is needed. or when the flow is generally taking place only in one direction. In the schematic of globe valve, we can clearly see the disc that opens or closes by water pressure. In case of a gate valve or sluice valve, there is a wedge-shaped plunger which is controlled by the valve. Depending on the location of the valve, which controls the location of this plunger, water can be allowed or prevented from flowing through the pipeline. The gate valve or sluice valve offers very little resistance to water flow, and hence the head loss in the pipeline is less. Kindly note that if there is a higher head loss in the pipe network, we will have to provide more pumps to ensure that the adequate amount of pressure is available at the supply end or at our consumer end. So we need to have devices which do not add to the head loss in the water supply network. The gate valve or a sluice valve can control the flow equally well in both the directions. These are commonly used when infrequent valve opening or closing is needed. A gate valve is much more suitable for operations where frequent opening and closing are required. Gate valve or sluice valve offers little resistance to the flow, and they are also used in situations where the flow can be stopped from either directions. And as mentioned earlier, gate valve or sluice valves are generally provided at the summit in a water supply network. The second type of valve that we need to discuss are the air valves. The air valve admits air when negative pressure gets developed in the pipeline, and it removes the displaced air when the line is filled up with water, for example after repairs. These are generally provided on either sides of a gate valve on a summit to allow the entry of air and to expel the extra air as and when needed. For this purpose, specially designed air valves can be provided that work both ways. They admit the air when needed, and they also remove the extra air from the system when needed. These are also known as air inlet valves and air relief valves. The automatic air valve and the puppet air valve are shown with the help of schematics, and we can see the key components of an automatic air valve, including the counterweight, air inlet and outlet valve, the chamber, the float, and the lever. The automatic air valves are provided on top of the water supply pipe. Such type of valves stay closed when the water is flowing under normal pressure. However, when the flow rate reduces, the float will sink down, which will cause the opening of the valve and the air will be allowed to enter. This will prevent any formation of vacuum into the pipeline. The third type of valves are known as check valves. These are also known as one-way valve, non-return valve, or reflux valves. Such names are given to these valves because a check valve will only allow the water to flow in one single direction. Backward flow of the water is not allowed through such valves. Such valves are installed at points where a breakage will result in large loss of water by the backward flow. The example locations include entrance of a reservoir, at the foot of a long upward pipeline, and pipe mains just beyond the pump. Looking at the last example, when check valves are provided at the pipe mains just beyond the pump, the flow will only take place from the pump to the main line, but the reverse flow, that is from the main line towards the pump, will be stopped by check valves. These are also commonly provided in the domestic connection, also known as the service connection. Looking at the schematics of the check valve, we can see that there are three different types of check valves depending on the check itself. These include the horizontal check valves, the vertical check valves, and the swing check valves. Check valves are designed in such a way that the water flow will take place only in one direction. When the flow is in that particular intended direction, the check will be lifted and the water will flow through the valve continually. When the water attempts to flow in the opposite direction, the check would be closed, it will not move, and hence no backward flow would be possible through such valves, and hence the name one-way valve. Safety valves are also known as pressure relief valves. These are automatic valves, and these are provided to ensure that any excess pressure that builds up in the pipeline gets relieved automatically. As soon as the pressure exceeds a preset value, the valve will open and the pressure would be relieved. This happens because the water will be allowed to flow out, and hence the pressure in the flow line would reduce. As soon as the pressure comes back to the original preset value, the valve will close again, restoring the natural pressure or the normal pressure in the pipeline. These are spring-based systems, and if you look at the schematic of it, you can see that there is a packing washer, there is a spring, there is arrangement for letting go of the wastewater from the system, there is an adjusting screw that allows us to preset a pressure into the safety valve, and there is a lock nut as well. So as shown in the schematic, a safety valve has a spring-based arrangement in it. The tension of the spring allows us to determine the preset value of the pressure at which the safety valve will operate. And because this is a spring, it can be adjusted over a range of pressure values. When the flow pressure exceeds the tension in the spring, the seat is pressed up and the water will flow out. This will relieve the excess pressure. As soon as the excess pressure is dissipated, the spring will let go of its tension and the seat will close again. The water will flow at the normal discharge and under normal pressure. Drain valves. These are also known as cover valves or blow-off valves. The purpose of a drain valve is to remove the water or to drain the water from a pipe section. For this purpose, they are provided at the lowest point in a pipeline network so that gravity outflow of the water can take place. If we need to drain out a portion of the pipeline for maintenance or inspection purposes, what we need to do is we need to close the gate valve from the direction of supply so that no fresh supply enters into that section, and as soon as that supply leaves the section, we need to close the gate valve on the other side of the section as well. Any leftover water into the section can be removed automatically by opening up the drain valve. This will ensure that the entire pipe section is completely dry and workers can safely go for inspection or maintenance activities and repairs as and when needed. Because they are provided at the lowest point in the network, the water will flow out by gravity. In general, the drain valves are about 1/3 the size of the main pipeline. Another type of valves are foot valves. These are provided at the end of pump suction pipes. They prevent the entry of debris into the pumping system and they prevent the backflow from the pumping system. Generally, they are provided with screens to ensure that any debris is unable to enter our pipeline. These were the 6 types of valves that we needed to discuss in this unit. Let us take a look at the fire hydrants. In general, fire hydrants are mechanical arrangements that allows us to extract water at sufficient discharge and sufficient pressure to ensure that firefighting can take place effectively and in a timely manner. Kindly note that fires are uncontrolled and unintended accidents that happen. Fires can lead to loss of life and loss of material or both. To minimize this loss of life and or material, we need to have sufficient amount of water available to us at sufficient pressure so that the fire can be extinguished as soon as possible. For this purpose, fire hydrants are provided along the water supply network. In general, these are the outlets that are provided in the water distribution main lines for tapping waters in large amounts during a fire outbreak. They have other purposes as well. In times of water scarcity, especially during the summer time or in times of drought, they can also be used for filling municipal water tankers so that water can be supplied to the people through water tankers. At the time of fire, the nearest fire hydrant is connected to the water hose. The water is taken to the fire engine and then its pressure is boosted to at least 32 meters of water head for efficient firefighting purposes. 32 meters of water head ensures that the firefighters can push the water over multi-story buildings and the fires can be extinguished even at great heights. There are 2 different types of fire hydrants. There is a flush type fire hydrant and there is a post fire hydrant. The key components of a flush type fire hydrant are a handle for opening the valve, a stem and the valve. A masonry valve is provided in which the flush type fire hydrant is located and there is a cast iron cover on top of this arrangement. Flush type fire hydrants are provided on top of the water main line. A post fire hydrant is the second type of fire hydrant. They are also provided on top of a water supply line. The key components of a post fire hydrant are valve seat, a leather valve, nozzle cap, outlet, handle, and a drain valve. A good fire hydrant allows for easy connections to hose or motor pump and ensures uninterrupted water flow. These are generally provided at all the street crossings, turnings, and at 100-meter intervals in a straight line. These are also provided in commercial and institutional installations to ensure that water can be made available at the time of fire in as close vicinity to the buildings as possible. Whether it's a flush type fire hydrant or a post type fire hydrant, they are both provided directly on the water main line as mentioned earlier. A handle is provided which is used to regulate the valve connecting the hydrant and the water main, and thus it allows for the outflow of the water from the main line. Multiple water outlets can be provided on the same hydrant, which will ensure that multiple fire tenders are connected to a single hydrant. This is especially required when there is a large fire in a city. A large fire would require a number of water streams that are simultaneously provided to ensure that fire can be suppressed, which means the fire is not allowed to spread out, and there is sufficient amount of water available to ensure that fire can be extinguished in a timely manner to reduce or to minimize the loss of material and loss of life. In general, when comparing the two different types of fire hydrants, the flush type and the post type, in India, generally the flush type water hydrants are more commonly used. Although in many cities it is common for people to observe post type water hydrants that are available on the ground surface. In comparison, when looking at the developed world such as United States or the countries in the Europe, the most commonly used type of water hydrants is the post type water hydrant. So in this session we have discussed about the 6 different types of valves, the uses of these valves, and how they ensure that water in sufficient quantity and at sufficient pressure is provided to the end user, and also how we prevent the formation of negative pressure in the line, or how do we ensure that the pipeline is made dry when repairs and maintenance works or inspection works are needed. We have also discussed the concept of fire hydrants, the different types of fire hydrants are there, their utility, and how they can be utilized to ensure that the fires can be suppressed and extinguished in as minimum time as possible. This brings us to the close of unit number 17, and we have gone through the valves, the pumping arrangements, and various appurtenances that are used in a common waterworks network. Thank you.